I think you've been put up by Maulana Nurul Hasan. He's told you I'm going to lecture for 3 hours. I hope this isn't a conspiracy. I'm not going to lecture for 3 hours. Have you seen my throat? Totally knackered. I ain't going to go on. I'm just going to do a little bit. But I just want you to bear with me. But what was the question? What was the first extract? The name of the first, if you pretend this is the Lawh Mahfuz, the first extract, the name of the extract was called the Torah. The Torah. Allah sent snippets from the Lawh Mahfuz. Here, guide. Musa, guide them. But in the interim period, some more prophets came. Now they wanted more, as society advanced, the need of man, because man is a very complicated species. Oh, including women, of course. When I say men, it doesn't just mean men. It also means women. Equal opportunities. Anyway, so Allah created a book, but then as man and his needs progressed, Allah sent more small items from the Lawh Mahfuz. So there was a book, that was an extract from the Lawh Mahfuz, and then there was letters or little pages from the Lawh Mahfuz. In Arabic we call that Sahifa, divine letters, or plural is Sahaif. So Allah sent Sahaif. So if you pretend this is the Torah, a Sahifa was revealed, added to the book, another Sahifa added to the book, another Sahifa added. A time came when this book became rather populated. So Allah said, right, I think we need a new edition here. So the name of the next edition was called Zabur. So the next revised edition was called the Zabur. Dawood alayhi salam was given, right, we need a revision, consolidate all the previous Sahifas and the book, and we'll have a new edition. Thank you very much. Go and tell them, this is what to do, this is not what to do. Finished. Now when Dawood alayhi salam came, society progressed, man advanced, needs progressed. So now a new edition was required. And Allah sent the next edition. And the name of that next edition was the Injil. So now when the Injil came, that was it. The Injil was the final testament, and it had addressed all the needs of human beings up till that time. But after the Injil, because man and society and the needs of man had progressed further, what was now required was a new edition. But this time, Allah didn't want to just send another edition which consolidated the previous. Of course it consolidated the previous. But now Allah wanted to send an edition which was the final edition. And this edition wasn't just for Arabs, or wasn't just for people of a certain geographical region. It wasn't just for a certain time. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, if you allow me to say, it wasn't even for Muslims. I often ask the question, whose book is the Gita? Whose book is the Gita? Hindus? The Guru Granth Sahib? The Bible? The Quran? No, this is it. The Quran is not for Muslims. Muslims benefit from it, but the Quran is for all of human beings. So, the Quran now came for everyone. And the Quran was the final edition. But there was something that was different between the Quran and the previous books. There was something different. Do you know what that difference was? Do you know what that difference was? The difference was that all the previous books were extracts. They were, here's the Lawh Mahfuz, they were extracts, bits, snippets. The Quran wasn't an extract from the Lawh Mahfuz. The Quran wasn't a snippet from the Lawh Mahfuz. The Quran, my dear brothers and sisters, was a culmination of the entire mass of information on the Lawh Mahfuz in 30 chapters known as the Quran. It was not a summary form, it was the entire Lawh Mahfuz in 30 chapters. There you are. Here you are, here's the Quran, your guidance. But look at us today, where are we with the Quran? Pretend this is the Quran in our house. Put it up there. After namaz, I'll recite it. If someone passes away, I'll recite it. But otherwise, here you are. Thank you very much. End of. That's our relationship with the Quran today. Other than reciting the Quran, and then when you go to ask people, you say, well, why don't you find out the meaning of the Quran? Why don't you understand the meaning? They say, we can't speak Arabic. Do you think that by knowing Arabic you can get guidance from the Quran? Do you really think that? I'm sorry to say this. If knowing Arabic was the key to the Quran, then no Arab would walk on this earth misguided. You have Christian Arabs, you have Jewish Arabs, you have atheist Arabs, you have secular Arabs, you have all sorts of Arabs. They know the Quran, they read the Quran like reading a newspaper. For them it's very easy. Do you think knowing Arabic is the key to learning this Quran? But no, we think, oh no, हम तो फिजी में पैदा हुए, हमारे लिए तो कोई कुरान का पढ़ेंगे बस, तिलावत करेंगे, हिंदुस्तान में पैदा हुआ, कोई समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या हो रहा है, बस सुभान अल्लाह माशाअल्लाह, बस कह दिया आलिम साहब ने तो बस ठीक है, हाँ. And the Arab looks at it and he says, I understand the meaning, but what it's really all about, I'm not interested. I'll leave it to the alim. You know what, he's trained, let him go and tell the story properly. Why? I haven't got time to go and check all the hadiths on this. I don't know what's going on. Allah is talking about. It's just rules, do this, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. Oh, and here's a story for you. This is what happened with Yusuf a.s. Oh, and there's another story for you. This is what happened with Nuh a.s. One story. And he said, oh, excellent, that's a lovely book. That's our book. And that's it, we go home. But that's not what the Quran is about. If reading the Quran was and getting sawab, reward from the Quran was the only objective, then I don't think we needed the Quran. Why? Because we get reward from reading the Quran only for one reason. Why? Because it's divine book, it's the word of Allah. But then so is the Torah the word of Allah. So is the Zabur the word of Allah. So is the Injil the word of Allah. Why was the Quran needed if simply our object was recitation? Sawab or Isa sawab? No, that's it. That's what it's all about. And then we say, no, it's about salah, it's about namaz, roza, hajj, zakah. Do you really think Allah needs your namaz? Are you seriously out of your mind that when you stand there and say Allahu Akbar, you think Allah actually needs you? When you starve yourself from sunrise to sunset, do you think Allah benefits from that? When you go to Hajj and go through all of that turbulence, do you think you're actually doing something for Allah? What's all of this hoo-ha about? What is it designed? Are we just filling the pot with more and more sawab, more and more sawab? Okay, let me ask you a question. Is there anyone in this world? Sorry, I'm asking very, very crude questions here, but it's very raw today because my throat is raw, so the subject is very raw. Is there anyone in this audience who thinks that they have done anything in their life that really makes them deserving of Jannah? Is there anyone who can stand up on the day of Judgment and say, oh Allah, I have done this and I deserve Jannah? Is there anyone? Seriously, come on, tell me. Is there anyone? No. Oh, okay. Is there anything we can do in our life that will guarantee us Jannah. Yeah. Some cocky fella, he came up to me one day and he said, yeah, there is something you can do actually. I said, what? He said, I can become a martyr. I can become a shaheed. I said, oh yeah, you think it's as simple as that? Alright. On the Day of Judgment, a shaheed who is promised paradise, the angels will prevent him from going to paradise. And they'll say, hey, hang about, I'm a martyr. I'm a martyr. Paradise is written for me. Why are you stopping me from going? The angel will say, sorry mate, you need to settle your debts. And if your debts are not settled, you ain't going into Jannah. You may be free from Jahannam, but you ain't going into Jannah until your debts are not settled. So, the reality is, are we simply saying that is there anything that we can really do that will guarantee us Jannah? And I think if you ask yourself with a proper and realistic view, the answer is no. So how are we going to get to Jannah? Well, there's two ways. Baat samajh aa rahi hai ya are you just following? Palle bhi pad rahi hai baat ya waise hi? I don't expect you to say Subhanallah. Of course, if you say Subhanallah, it's good. But there's only two ways we're going to get off. Two ways, that's it, finished. No third way off the hook. Number one, Allah looks at us on the Day of Judgment and He says, you know angels, let him off. On my mercy, let him off. On my mercy, let him off. Or, it could be on Allah's mercy, or Allah has so much respect for the person there. Allah has so much, no matter how big a wali is, no matter how big we think we are, we will stand in the dock. There is no exemption from the dock. The Prophet ﷺ used this finger and pointed at Abu Bakr Siddiqi and said, Abu Bakr fil Jannah. Abu Bakr will go to Jannah. But, ladies and gentlemen, Abu Bakr Siddiq will also stand in the dock on the Day of Judgment. Did you know that? Abu Bakr Siddiq will stand in the dock. And when he is presented before Allah, Allah will say to the angels, oh angels, why have you brought him in front of me? I look at his white hair, and I have haya. Take him away from here. Why? Because this is Abu. But the fact that he will be brought there in the first place, due process is due process. So either Allah will say, okay, let him off, on my mercy. Or Allah will say, no. My haya says that he is of such caliber that he should be let off. That's one way. The other way applies to people like me and you. We don't really have anything of substance to offer Allah, but we have one thing to rely on. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Oh yes. Every Sunni knows this. The problem is, they know this and they exclude themselves from the rest. The intercession of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, on the Day of Judgment, Allah looks at us, the angels say, he is damned, he's finished. Send him off to hell. But then in front of that sinner, the Prophet ﷺ stands and says, oh Allah, don't burn him. I stand on your behalf, on his behalf, in front of you. Allah won't look at us, He will look at His beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah, subhanallah. ऐसी चीज़ों पे तो बहुत सुभानअल्लाह कहते हैं. But let's just examine this in a bit more detail. जो मर्जी गुनाह करो, जो मर्जी करो, हाँ जी हमें तो शिफात मिल जाएगी, कोई फिक्र की बात नहीं है. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, we should still pray to Allah for shafaat. It's right, quite right. But we know that we're not going to get off on our amal. So if we know we're not going to get off on our namaz, roza, hajj, zakat, why are we doing all of this? What's the object? Are we simply accumulating a pot of sawab? At the end of the day, we're not going to get off on our amal. We're going to get off on Allah's mercy or off the intercession of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.